How's the post show rebound? Is it going well?
Could you class it as a rebound now?
Well, maybe me, not so much you.
Oh yeah,
I've
yours
competed
was
last.
your yeah. When was your comp?
I've still got the water retention on the face and shit.
Yeah.
8 kilos up, bruv.
Are you? Where am I at? I'm easily, and I should really work with kilos, but I'm fucking old school English man, aren't I? I think I'm in like, I'm like mid 15s, and I was high 12 stone. So I'm easily like 3 stone higher than what I was at comp.
Right.
So that's way more. Yeah. Oh, that's way heavier than what you've just said. 8 kilos.
I look massive though. Do you know, like when all the carbs go in, you're like,
yeah. Talking about that, mate, I'm such a water buffalo. I don't know if you're the same. I've got some crappy white boy British genetics, man. If I just increase my calories by just a smidge, if I say, I know, I'm just going to have, I don't know, an added bagel into my fucking day. Dude,
yeah,
honestly, like, I don't feel the effect in performance. All I see is an effect of just, I lose all vascularity, like, or I just turn into a pillow. By just adding just
I get
a
red face.
Yeah.
Get proper red face.
What I have,
I actually think that my calories were too high post show, so I've actually brought them down myself just because I was just gaining.
Yeah.
So
because I'm not working with anyone at the moment, and my coach at the time when we were coming out of the show, he put me on, like, I'm talking going into the show. If anyone's not heard this before, this is new to you. No joke, I was on about 900 calories a day going into the show. Right? Okay. So I was on 900 calories a day. So it was egg whites and greens. It was egg whites and greens. That's all I was eating, really. And one bagel thin.
Bikini girls.
I know. And you'd take the piss. But one of my mates, Xander, he said exactly the same thing, man. He was like, he competing in a bikini. But that's just how my body had to. And this is the thing, like, we can watch as many YouTube videos, be coached by so many different people, watch all these, but we're so bloody different, man. Like, I'll add a bagel and I'll just become a water buffalo and gain so much water retention. I have to wear, those aeroplane socks. Those?
Yeah.
Like for your DMT. I have to wear them when I just go in the car up to Brum for 2.5 hours in the car. Because if I wear like socks halfway up my calf, with like I'm going to put some socks on now, to be fair, because my tootsies are cold. But this little bit here, mate.
You get the canal.
Dude, I've got like an ankle bracelet on both legs, like thick ankle bracelet. Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Mine still like it. But yeah, I think I'm the same. My body responds really, really well to low carbohydrates.
Same.
So on my first show, I was literally just eating proteins, fats, and like vegetables. I was on not a lot of carbs at all. Carbs to me was like I get a bagel refeed with some jam, and that was it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I would what was our system in place for the diet when we were coming up close? We were hitting some carb cycling, which worked wicked for me.
Yeah, carb cycling's sick.
Really, really well. And what works fantastic for me, and I found out with a couple of others actually, like client-wise, 3 low, 1 high works really well. It just something from, experience-wise. I don't know what it says, in your books and all your scientists and things, but what I would say, and your nutritionists, I from what I've seen from experience, is 3 low, and after that second day you're really gagging for those carbs. So that third day is tough, but you also know tomorrow I got carbs, so it's kind of like a really good little mix.
You push real hard for them to earn them.
Yeah. What sort of carbs? What carbs worked well on like your refeeds or your carb up days? Your big days?
Bagels and cream of rice.
Yeah, same.
I'm a big oat fan, but during the carb up, I tend to get a bit too bloated with bagels. So the cream of rice is lighter on the stomach. But that and the occasional McDonald's breakfast.
What?
goal.
You're joking?
You know that picture? I don't know if you've seen the video of me where me and John done a posing seminar over in Whitney Weights, and there's I done a reel where I took my top off and I looked fucking really good, and I hit like some front double biceps, and that was after he gave me a breakfast bagel, because I'd run 0 carbs, I think, for 2 weeks with 2 hours cardio.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? I
was like, the breakfast bagel put me into a hole, mate.
Oh, what
it went in, you probably just goes boom, and then all of a sudden, it's the super compensation. Your body just ramps to try and grab the carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And I blew up and looked at the nut, and then literally 45 minutes later, I was on my hands and knees, and he was like, "You all right, bruv?" And I was like, I went into a complete hole.
Yeah, man. Like,
because your body's just turbocharged.
Yeah. I uploaded something the other day of me just eating bagel and cream of rice. Did you see that video? You may have seen it, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was
it. You was eating cream of rice.
Yeah.
I've seen people do it.
Oh, mate, honestly, incredible.
Really?
That was 2 days before I met you.
So this is what I was going to say. You need to tell everyone how we met.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So this was So should we set the scene? I did this with Joe the other day. Should we set the scene? The sun was at its most highest on the day. There was a slight breeze in the air. So when was it? Was it the day before our show? So June 11th.
It was when we was getting tanned.
This is great. Go on, you tell it and make me out to be a real creep. Just do it. Go on.
So for anyone that knows, if you've been to a PCA tanning, I didn't know that this was a PCA thing. Apparently, Two Bros have really decent fans to dry you off. But anyone that goes to a PCA one, they have like one little ass fan, a tiny fucking fan
on the floor,
and you've got
pointing up.
Guys, pointing up at you, and you've got 7 naked guys all crowding around one fan, all trying to get dried. And I literally just remember thinking, wow, all these months of dieting, I never really ever thought that I would be in this situation with a cock over my sock over my cock.
Yeah.
Just starfishing in front of a little ass fan with loads of other guys. And then to make it more awkward, you just went, I know you, didn't I?
Oh, mate.
And I went,
from what part of me do you recognise, mate? Because I don't know you at all.
Where are you going? Did you just see me from the back and you're like, seen you before? But so I was like, really? And you go, your loft houses, mate. Used to do the YouTube. And I was like, oh yeah, he's downstairs.
Yeah.
But it was good.
I'm really good with faces, man.
It was both our first time.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good for me for the icebreaker, you know. I've been doing this shit for 20 years and never stepped on stage before, and then it was weird being on the other side of it, having prepped with John for so many competitions, and then being on the other side. I was like, there's lots of scenarios that you see the other person do and you're not actually a part of. So then to be in that situation and have someone like yourself, it actually did really, we had a good little bit of banter between us. Yeah. It was nice.
I can see it from your point of view, where you kind of weren't, but possibly John was in the limelight for so many years, or a few years, when you were kind of behind the scenes filming and helping and coaching and guiding and just being that person on his shoulder, just that person for him to cry on, and you've got a helping hand. And now, oh, hang on a minute, we've just swapped places. Oh shit. I can see that.
It was really weird. It was nice to have him coach me though, because at first I had another coach, and I started prepping during the second lockdown. So the first lockdown, me and the missus were pretty active. We was on the bikes and going out for walks and stuff like that, and we was making good food, but you know, we was sticking to a good plan. And in the second lockdown, but by the time the second lockdown had come around, I'd made up my mind I was going to compete. So I was going to do one last push to get really fat. and bulk up and gain as much muscle as I could,
Yeah.
which is the picture that you see on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I started dieting with a coach because John was very inaccessible within lockdown, and I started dieting with this one coach, and then I got COVID during the third lockdown, and I was like, do I carry on prepping? So I did. I carried on prepping through COVID, which was fucking shit. Trying to stick to a diet with like migraines and whatnot. And then coming out of it, me and John sort of linked back up when the world started to go normal again. We went for a little long romantic walk along Canvey. And I'd said to him as well, like he said, like, you're in the best shape I've seen you in ever. I told you you should have done this years ago. And then he said, but if I'm honest with you, I don't think you're going to be ready. You're not far along enough. And I knew he was right. You know, the good thing with John is he's brutally honest, and I'm brutally honest with him.
Yeah.
So then he said, let me coach you. And he coached me into the first show. So
yeah,
we've done all right. I think next year So next year I'm going for you picked any shows out? Yeah, you did, didn't you? So you've got the calendar up.
Yeah.
You picked one out?
I can't. There's three. There's three I want to do, but I haven't like locked in. If as soon as I lock in, and I think you're the same as me. When you're in, you're kind of in. I don't want to be in that mindset just yet, because I was in it for almost 30 weeks, 27 weeks I was dieting for. So I'm similar to you, where like I think it was lockdown 2. I was training out of a shipping container, like just like a few plates and a few bumper plates. Lockdown 1 was in the garage.
Where was the shipping container?
That was just outside. That was in the city, so Exeter.
Oh, okay.
So about 25 minutes up the road. It was like in this big like lot, loads of like shipping containers, and it was just decked out with some bars and some plates, which was quite good to do. That was all right. And then I think it was November, December. I've still got the post on Instagram somewhere of me, you know, and as soon as I put things public, I quite like that. And I've heard Hollingshead say the same thing, how he kind of likes to perform in front of people. And that kind of is a similar way to me, is it puts a level of pressure, a level of like, which is a good pressure. I think pressure is great. I like it. You know, I perform better under pressure. And I don't know if you're the same. I'm a bit of an idiot in terms of like organization going into something. Let me tell you, on the second show in Exeter, 6 weeks after when we did ours, I was backstage and they were lining us up ready to do our individual posing routines, which we're going to get into in a minute because you are the posing extraordinaire. You're not going to like this, but you might quite, I don't know. I did no posing practice. I did not make a routine. I didn't do anything for the second, but hear me out. Hey,
you winged it.
I completely winged it. Of course I practiced. Of course I listened to music. I picked my track. I went out, but I didn't have a routine. Sorry?
What was your track that you posed to?
The Mandalorian, Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was really good. See, that's how we didn't even see. You didn't even know we're just so in common in terms of like, mate, you use Kung Fu Panda.
I know. There's only 2 people who got that. That was you and my mate Brad. Mate. My mate Brad was like, I got emotional, bro. He was like, I remember that.
Yeah. Mate.
But actually, Kung Fu Panda was not the one choice that I wanted to do. It was going to either be, I just wanted to do something samurai themed. And it was, unfortunately, it was the one piece of music that fit.
Yeah. Talking of samurai, last night, funny enough, I stuck on for the first time The Last Samurai. You seen that?
Well, that was what I was going to post to.
Oh, what, that piece of music?
Yeah, because that was the film that really it's my favorite film ever made.
What, The Last Samurai?
Yeah.
Oh. How mad is that? It's really good. I watched it last night. It was very good.
Yeah, it's my favorite film ever made. So basically, I'm really into my samurai stuff. Like, love it. I've got swords and masks, and one of my clients is actually paying for my services. he makes cosplay helmets, Star Wars ones and things like
Oh,
that.
wicked.
And he's making him Samurai Kabuto with the face mask.
What, to do like
And
a guest posing?
No, just a fucking stick in here, isn't it?
An idea though. That's an idea.
That's guest posing anymore. It's annoying.
Yeah,
I
they
used to
don't.
like guest.
They're kind of coming back though, aren't they? You've seen like Nick Walker doing a few, and
Yeah, but Nick Walker can't move.
he is like a house. He is like an.
Me and John watched. I can't remember what. I think it was the New York Pro. We were watching it live, and we called everything he was going to pose. Like it was like, yeah, watch him come out, do a front double bicep, side chest, most muscular, and he hit all three parts because it's like it's the posing 101 to go to if you just don't care.
What's
You
his
know, you just hit
what's his
one.
name? Something Junior. He's like high up in bodybuilding, high up in like the eye.
Oliva Junior.
Who?
Sergio Oliva
That's
Jr.
it. That's it. So Sergio, he had an interview after, was it the? I think it was the Arnold when he didn't do too well. He came like 6th, 7th, didn't he? I think. But he was having a little bit of like he was a bit like miffed in terms of like Ian would just jump on, watch the screens in front of him, and just hit his shots. But really, can you really have a go at them because they're just ticking the boxes and winning the shows? It's the organisation that needs to put more of a, because I know the Arnold, a section of you get a 10 grand for being the best poser, and there's a section of that for posing that goes against your overall scorecard, right?
I was really pissed off when I went to PCA actually because of that.
Well,
that same reason what you said, because if you read the criteria of what PCA write in there, they say that part of the judging is done through posing, and it's bullshit.
See, I was told that because my coach at the time was is he a PCA pro? They call him now. I don't know. And
PCA pro.
Yeah, and he was one of the judges at the Exeter show. He couldn't judge me at the time. He had to just quite literally physically twist around in the chair while I was on stage. But he told me that a portion of even though we were first timers, a portion of our score is through posing. But
some of the posing I saw in my 2 competitions that I done was absolutely diabolical. Some guys couldn't even open up their lats. Like to me, that goes against you. If someone says lat spread and you're squeezing your rhomboid together, and you can't open your lats up, you lose that mark because I can't see your lat. You've squeezed them together. They're now this big. They should be this big.
Yeah,
that should go against them, And then if they come out with a dog shit posing routine, and some guy comes out and lights the stage up, and there's a fairly even, it should be rewarded.
Especially when you're in that. I believe anyway. Even if they didn't want to run it for every single category or division, and just had it for the classic, because isn't that why they brought it back, and why they brought that category back or that division is because of the solid posing routines and the statuesque physiques and the proportions and the flow and the symmetry, everything.
It's also the race lines as well. The guys that are winning classic shows in mostly the amateurs, it never really happens in the pro ranks because they know how to judge. But these amateur shows, whether it's 2 Bros or PCA or any others, and they got a thick ass waist, and they're winning shows. Over guys with a nice thin small waist with taper. And
have you noticed how I could be put into this category though? Potentially, John wouldn't be, because he has that flow and that those classical lines. What you would in the back of your mind think, oh, that's a classic physique. You would point at him, Chris Bumstead, him, Rough Diesel, that guy, him, or the top guys, right? But do you think a lot of the time people jump into classic because it's far more you've got physique and then you've got classic, and it's kind of like way more attainable? Like, nah, fuck going it. No,
I think it's true. Well, I think there's 3 people that go into classic. One of them is I want to bodybuild, but I don't want to do the men's physique stuff. Like I want to be able to pose. I don't want to be too big, like you say. So they go into classic. However, that's all right in the amateurs. When you see the fucking pros, man, up close. When I was in Poland with John, they are not. They are not. That is easy to attain.
Yeah.
They're another level. I stood next to Mike Summerfield. He is
I
Mike
don't.
Mike the badass.
Oh,
Never
him,
seen
yeah, yeah, with the hand
he went,
tap, German guy.
so we're backstage, and that fucker is hitting a bicep shot in front of a mirror, right like this close to me. And I'm staring at him because I'm helping John pump up and stuff.
This you're reenacting the scene of me and you getting tanned. This is what I
Yeah,
was like.
well, yeah,
I was like in awe.
of me with my naked ass. No, but if you see this guy, like they're unreal. They literally look like they have muscles stitched onto the skeleton, like hanging slabs of beef. They're huge, man. They're absolutely huge. But getting back to the point, I think the second sort of category of people are guys that are just doing it because it's trendy. It's a fashion, isn't it? Open bodybuilding's lost its allure. I think part of that is down to the guys that are at the top.
Potentially,
I don't think there's many.
Yeah.
I don't think there's as much of it peaked at Phil Heath and Kai Green.
Yeah, I love that. That battle for years and years was wicked, wasn't it? When Kai flicked him in the face with his ponytail.
Yeah, and they were awesome as well. They were awesome. They both always came in shredded. They both always knew how to pose. They were professional. Like they were elite level. And I think the guy is now half-assing it because the competition's not that stiff. If you're gonna get loads of people being like, "You what, fucking?"
Yeah.
The condition's not what it was back then.
No.
And then I think the other category are the guys that are too big, too small for bodybuilding, and they're not going to make a big enough impact in bodybuilding, so then they cut down to classic.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
And they're the three guys that do it.
Which would you be? If there's three, which guy are you?
I'm the guy that doesn't want to do.
Are you the last one? Because I thought the last one for me. I'm not.
I'm not. I would definitely not be filling out any weight cap.
Oh, I suppose
I was 77 on my first comp, and I was 80.5 on my second comp. That was the introduction of TRT between two comps.
So 80. What's your weight cap for your height?
Well, there isn't no one in PSA, is there? They don't have a weight cap, which I think is ridiculous.
What about two bros?
Another thing I don't get with PSA. You can be classic, but you can be any fucking weight you want. How does that make sense? Then you're getting these guys that are coming in that just don't fit the weight cap and they have huge waists, and loads more muscle, and then they're winning, but they're giving these guys the win.
Well, that's what happened at the first show where I met you in June for the first timers. The chap that came second. Yes, the guy who came second. Yes, he's gigantic. But I wouldn't. You what?
Yeah, Jack came second, and he got beat by that guy that poses with Ryan Brambleby.
Yeah, he calls himself like the classic ghost or something on Instagram.
Yeah, that guy. He beat Jack.
That's it.
That's supposed to be quite controversial, that apparently, wasn't it?
Oh, really?
But I actually get to see it because they wouldn't let me back in the building.
No, we had to scoot right out after as well because of the old dreaded C19. But mate, pumping up backstage for me, looking at them monsters, I was like, not even physically like looking. I had to look up as well because they're so tall. And I'm like, why am I in the tall category? You look like the BFG compared to me, bruv.
Haven't they?
Hey?
They've changed it now. So my second show, what height are you then?
I'm 5'11", mate.
So you would be in short now.
I stand more of a chance, potentially. Kinda. That's good.
One of the guys I actually was against in my second show at the Beck. I was his posing coach. We were going in the same lineup against each other. And he's, I think, 5'3", 5'10" and a bit, and he's in the short cast now. So they've changed it. They altered it. So I think you might creep into the short class now.
I kind of next year I kind of want to do a PCA show, a FitX show, and a two bros, and then potentially with the two bros like pro qualifier, is it? And then do the Arnold. I don't know. That'd be well cool getting on that stage. That'd be wicked.
Have you got a coach?
Right now, I haven't got I haven't got anybody. I don't need. There's two camps, isn't there? Well, usually the right this camp is usually the right one. have a coach in the off season as well, and they are right. I do get that, but for me, I'm so regimented with my diet anyway. I know how to train and gain tissue. I don't need that person every. Yeah, like I don't need that person every week to tell me, could you increase your cardio, please? Could you, I don't know, can you have one less bagel? And I'm paying you all that money just to speak to you once a week for you to tell me to reduce a bagel, mate. I know what I'm doing anyway in that sense. It's just the finicky little bits in prep, and I don't need someone to be held accountable to. Personally, I don't need that. It's almost having
more when you're in the last stages of prep and your head's all over the place anyway. You need someone to think for you.
Yeah, question that because you double question you question yourself, don't you? It's like, should I be doing that? Should I increase cardio? Should I pull back? Should I do more stairs? It was really cool, actually. It was very fascinating for me to learn my body. And this is what, if you get to a point where you don't need to be coached anymore because you just know your body in and out, and you don't need, that's perfect. I think everyone should be learning about their body and not just becoming like a yes sir, no sir sort of person. Hey, okay, coach. Yeah, will do. Have you learning anything? Are you asking them? Are you actually learning how your body's working and moving? So what I learned with my body between comp number 1 and number 2, 6 weeks, I had barely any vascularity in the comp we did in June. My legs were shredded, lines everywhere, I had lines in my bum cheeks, loved it. So that's 6 weeks, and we did no Stairmaster, none. I used to do 2 hours of Stairmaster before the first show, removed stairs, kept the same food between the 2 shows, but removed the Stairmaster and did walking on a treadmill for the same time. And my legs came in, like big time. So, and that's me learning. I've just learned something about myself. A lot of people, I believe, wouldn't have even taken that in and just gone, that was my coach that did that. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, learn about how your body's. Yeah.
I very much grew up on the older Mitsuru Akabe DVDs. They were like Battle for the Olympia. Okay. Old, bruv.
Yeah, you are.
So there used to be some like little Japanese guy that his name was Mitsu, and he would follow Ronnie Coleman and Victor Vince Taylor and Johnny Jackson and all those old guys, and he'd follow him around and basically like film their last X amount of weeks before the Olympia, and then he'd compile it onto the biggest DVD you've ever seen, and he'd sell them every year, and I'd always pick them up, and I literally learned training for like that. I didn't listen to the guy at the gym or anyone like that. I watched how Jay Cutler benches. Harry doesn't use full range of motion, and he focuses more on volume and time under tension. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's safer, and you can have long term, you're going to be able to get more output out as well.
Yeah.
So I learned to train like that initially, and then mostly just taught myself. And I always knew I had a good amount of knowledge and tissue underneath until I stripped off. But for me, it was always the diet. Like, I'm not like you where I can rein myself in. I'm a nightmare.
But I was here
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't cheat on my diet on both comps. I didn't cheat on my diet once. And I know loads of people that do cheat on their diet all the time. And I don't get it. Like, personally, you just do what fucking needs to be done. You've got a goal at the end of the day. Food's always going to be there at the end. But for me, it's off season. Off season, I struggle to really rein it in and keep myself under control.
See, the only I know you say, I'm not like you, how you can rein it in, but what it is, and I spoke about this, I think on the last episode, but it's like a lesson learned. And I use the analogy of like chapters in a video game.
Yeah.
And when I reach these little chapters, like I can't go, it saves you data and you just don't go back. If you're playing Crash Bandicoot, you start at the checkpoint, yeah, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
No, yeah. That's the mask your mate's making, isn't it? Don't lie. It's not some samurai, it's that mask.
Yeah. Have masks in the corner.
Yeah. And I was going to get them tattooed, actually. I love those like tiki masks, and like I was going to get the all up my arm.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was it?
Some Japanese kanji on.
What's it say?
It was off of a Street Fighter anime.
Okay.
And it means the right path is my path.
That's very true. I used to love watching anime, mate. Princess Mononoke. I think I remember a movie I think I used to watch.
That's Studio Ghibli.
What about
you've got anime, which was manga when I was a kid.
Okay.
Anime. It used to just be called manga. And then you've got your Studio Ghibli, which is basically, do you know what Ghibli is? So you've got Princess Mononoke. What was the other one? Castle in the Sky.
That Porto Rocco or something. That like pig guy.
All of them, they started when Walt Disney done a collaboration with a guy called Hayao Miyazaki, and that's how that came together, and that's why they're very Disney-esque. That's probably why you like them.
Yeah. How do you know that? Yeah,
it's just a hunch, man. Just a hunch.
Yeah. Bloody hell. That might be why I really like him then.
Yeah, it probably is. It's done in the same sort of I don't know what you would call it, but it's done in that same
sort of animation cartoon style.
There's always with a subtle agenda underneath everything. There's always a secret lesson that learned with every Disney film, isn't there?
Yeah. Yes, it's always like, what is it? How can we look at one of them then? Inside Out. Remember that? That movie when there's like different like so Inside Out is like I think it's a Pixar Disney Pixar, and it's basically all of like your feelings and emotions as characters. So you've got like a red one that was anger, and you've got a blue one that's depressed, and you've got I think it's like a blue sciencey one, like nerdy, like worries all the time, and you've got a yellow one that's like happy, like all these ones, right? It's actually quite a good movie. That, fun fact, is actually given to a lot of people that seek treatment. So like sort of like mental health issues or depression or anxiety. A lot of these therapists advise watching that movie because of like learning different emotions, and when they come in and they're not there permanently and things like that. It's quite good. That's just like what you're saying.
Very easy to understand for people with limited understanding.
That's it.
And all of that, I've worked in the hair community for 16 years. So
there you go. Yeah. So it's almost like you said, every movie has a hidden agenda. On the last podcast, we were talking about Marvel movies and how I think, especially on a few, there's always a hidden message in each character. So like if you were to look at like the Hulk, it shows you if you give into anger and hate, you'll turn into like this big green monster. Like you'll turn into a prick. I know we love the Hulk, he's cool, but he is destructive and he just runs riot and he doesn't know what he's doing, and there you go, you're not really thinking straight. So if you give into anger that way. Another one, what was I thinking the other day? Hey, what?
When the trend kicks in.
Yeah, that's it. When you've got what's it called, like Spider-Man, like they've re-rolled like a young teenager and he's getting bullied, but even though he gets bullied, he can still, like, he's a superhero inside, he can still help people, so I kind of like, I think Stan Lee, I think he did a good job on a few characters with like the story behind them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they were good stories. I was actually always more of a DC guy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't really understand the concept of, like, nowadays, it's very much put in front of your face. This is DC, this is Marvel. You're either one or the other. back in the day, I just got an amalgamation of both because there wasn't really a distinctive line. I grew up with Lou Ferrigno's Hulk.
Did you? You grew up with him?
Yeah, it was on TV all the time.
Yeah.
I had the 90s Michael Keaton Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That was all done very what's the guy's name that does it? Who's the film guy? All of his films are done the same. He done
Zack Snyder. Oh no.
He done a Sweeney Todd film.
Yes.
They're all very dark.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm Googling.
They drive me mad.
I'm gonna Google him. You keep talking.
But yeah, that had a very dark undertone. And then I had Christopher Reeve as Superman. But then my Spider-Man came from the 90s cartoon Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I had the X-Men cartoons. So that was sort of where I got all of my my
Tim Burton is
what you superhero. Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Mate, what about Sleepy Hollow? Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, but his Batman films was that dark undertone. Like he made Penguin seem like as a kid, that draws you in.
Yeah.
Like, I do think nowadays when you watch new films, I remember watching like the Goonies and Tim Burton films like Batman. And they did history that drew you in, and you became like almost like, oh, I don't want to look at it, but I'm going to look at it. And and I don't really have that anymore. Storytelling's like gone by the wayside, I think, for CG and.
Yeah, you say that, and I'm probably going to make a few enemies here. But I've seen the new Bond movie. I don't know if you have, but that villain, what's his name? Yeah,
I don't know exactly.
Remy Malek, but yeah, I don't know. He didn't scare me. Like I want to be like. Remember Jaws? I was like, whoa, flipping out, he's going to bite my head off.
Scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Daniel Craig carried that film, man.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig carried that new film.
Who do you reckon? So who do you reckon they'll re-roll as the new Bond? So it's out of 3, isn't it? It's out of Idris.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
Who?
I'm not going to watch it. I'm just not going to watch it. Because I was not ever really a Bond fan growing up. And then when they cast Daniel Craig.
Yeah, you're right. You're same as me then.
I was like, oh, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And I saw Casino Royale and I was like,
it's that opening free running scene when he's running after that guy in Africa or wherever they were. And they were like up like cranes and like diving through and jumping onto the top of elevators and like straight out the gate. I'm like, yeah, this guy is sick. To the bar.
Yeah. He's like, vodka up. Shaken or stirred? Do I look like I could have? It's like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
this guy is a spy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I didn't really like it. So now that they've killed him off, with spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
For anyone.
Hey, doesn't matter. Fucking.
But now that they've killed him off, I don't want to watch anymore. I'm done. To me, James Bond lived and died through Daniel Craig.
There you go. Isn't it weird how I was
a good idea to do that?
Because
a lot of people are on the fence about it, aren't they? They're like, no, they shouldn't have killed him off. I think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
To me, it's like Daniel Craig dropping the mic.
Craig the drop mic. Yeah, I can see that. The mic drop.
James Bond.
Yeah.
And he went, follow that.
It's sexy as hell though in the first couple on Casino Royale when he gets beaten up, man. It's weird, isn't it? I was that young at the time I think I was getting into training because was it 15 years ago he started as in Casino Royale? I think it's something like that. It came up on Instagram. Yeah. And when he walked out of the city, that scene when he's in his title trunks, I used to look at him and go, wow, he's massive, man. I really want to look like that. And then now I'm thinking, hang on a minute, bruv. If I walk out of the sea, I am bigger than him. So I'm like, get it. Yeah.
I think I read somewhere he was only like 11 or 12 stone when he got out of the sea.
Yeah.
It'd be small compared to us because he wasn't really super low body fat.
No, it was just like that. Yeah, that nice chunky muscle look. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you see him put a t-shirt on, literally one scene after, he looks invisible.
Yeah.
Like,
I quite like that. Are you similar to me? I don't know if you like walking around the streets in a tight t-shirt and getting that sort of that attention, because a lot of guys train for that. And I'm not here to criticize them. They do it for what they want to do it for. But I'm kind of like, I like the fact that, and I'm not like an overly massive, so I'll just say this now, I'm not massive. But what I say, if me and you like wore a tight t-shirt and we went to the club or went to a Weatherspoons or wherever, you're bound to get some attention of whoever going, oh, wow, you train. Oh, I quite like wearing a shirt and not looking like I go to the gym, because I kind of not like to always talk about I'm in the gym all the time. It's my job.
I go through phases. It depends. Some days I like the attention. Some days I don't.
Do you? Are you like
So
that? Yeah. Do you kind of like, you know, when you're like drying your hands under the hairdryer, do you kind of like do a couple of to the guy, he's taking a piss over there in the urinal, you're like this? Yes, mate. Yeah. So I try.
At a clubbing the other day, actually, first time in a club since the dreaded vid, and I got loads of. I went actually with my mate Dean, and my mate Dean's is taller than me. He's like 6'1", and he trains as well. Like he's competed for years. And his last show, he was against Brandon Harding.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, he was bigger than Brandon.
Oh, really?
Brandon has that flow, and
yeah,
it was. He looked incredible that day, Brandon. He picked up the overall one.
He was coached by Callum that time, wasn't
he? Yeah, he's still coached by Cal
right.
now. Yeah. Cal, by the way, is probably the most incredible coach I think I've ever seen.
Really?
Straight up. Watching him in Poland, the way he could literally predict what weight John was going to be after each meal.
That's so cool, isn't it? That's a superpower, man.
He's like superhuman, and he never stops. He's constantly on his phone, on his laptop, talking to us, on his phone, on his laptop, talking to, like, he'd like go in and out of sleep, like, and then wake straight back, carry on working.
Yeah,
it's unreal. The guy is an absolute machine, but such an amazing amount of knowledge on the blog. Like, I learned a lot from just watching him.
Yeah, he's kind of like creeping up he's getting like a few pros and things now. He'll be creeping up. Do you reckon he'll be like a top? He's already more than likely a top.
I think he'll be recognised in a good few years as one of the greatest coaches in the world, right?
You reckon, like a Chris Aceto and like a Hanny Rambod and like those?
I think there's actually a lot more science that goes into what Cal does. Cal, it's not really that Cal's not even actually there yet. I think Cal just needs that one guy to get.
That's what I mean.
You got to look at Aceto and think he was lucky he got Jay.
Yeah.
Because he got Jay, you know, you get that limelight as being the coach, right? But you look at Cal and he's got Bridgman, he's got Brightman, he's got John, he's got who else has he got? He's got Ryan Rhino.
Yeah.
He's got Mark Hector. How did I forget that? He's got Mark Hector.
Is he?
He's got loads of. Yeah, he's got Mark Hector. He's got more as well. There's other guys. You know, like really, he's got really good amateurs as well. Like
he just needs that right show at the right time, being held by the right organisation with the right amount of limelight on it, and boom, you're off. Yeah, it's just like any time, isn't it? It's like being at the right place at the right time. And if you're that consistent and you're that good at what you do, and you're loving what you do, and that's the thing, he probably loves what he does so very much. That's why he's very, very good at it. Do you know what I mean? And you'll find that with everything. Like I'm very good at playing Xbox. No one's going to force me to lie down in bed playing Xbox all day. I'm very good at that. So it's just the things that you love doing, you're just going to naturally just be incredibly good at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of posing, you are a posing coach extraordinaire. Why posing? What gives you that? Why that? In terms of like all of the avenues you can go down in bodybuilding, you can help with nutrition, you can help with, as in physically training people inside the gym, and then you've got the you've got all of the different things, and then the presentation at the very, very end. Is that the little cherry on the cake? Why is it that bit that you've fallen in love with?
Why is it that bit? So I've done all the other bits as well. I've been a personal trainer. I do online coaching. I've now competed. I've also just trained myself for 20 years now. I started when I was 17, 18. Started training then, and for all the years of all the different avenues that I tried to go into, I always felt like I was forcing it.
Okay.
I didn't. It become a chore, and the love went.
Yeah.
Posing, I think, came mostly from. It was a combination of everything that I've done growing up. So I can play the guitar, I can play drums. And
Look at you, mate.
I was in a band at school. So I used to sing as well. That was a fucker, because I used to play the drums and sing, because my guitarist didn't want to sing, so I ended up singing.
Are you a good singer?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. My range isn't great, but when I'm where I need to be, I can hold quite a nice tune. But yeah, so I think going through music, I've drawn since I was a kid. Like since I was like 6 years old. I've always been into art. I actually done an art and animation diploma in an open university.
Oh, that would have been wicked to have done. How was that?
Yeah, I've done that. That was my original. You know, everyone has your first dream as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, my first dream was to be a paleontologist and dig up dinosaurs.
Ross from Friends.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That was just impressive. I think it was because Jurassic Park was the first film I'd ever seen as a kid.
Oh, mate. I went and done an Instagram live last night just playing the Jurassic Park theme album in the background. So good, isn't it?
I love it. But then when I got a little bit older, I decided, what do I want to do with my life? And for a very long time, I wanted to move to Japan and be an anime artist. And I've been drawing since I was 6. So that's a good 30 years of drawing.
Still do it now?
Not so much, if I'm honest. Bodybuilding sort of took over, because during COVID I was still drawing, and then bodybuilding is just literally just took over. But I think it was a combination of that plus martial arts. I've done 4 years of Muay Thai kickboxing. I've done a couple of years of karate when I was younger, Shotokan, and then also my mate and me used to do MMA together. So I think it was a combination of all of that, and Bruce Lee is a massive influence on my life. And he always talks about the goal, and this is where brings up to one of your questions that you're gonna ask me later. But yeah, I just always enjoyed expressing myself. I always found as a child, you know, like no one ever talks about it, but when you're alone in your house, no one's watching, you think no one's watching, what are you doing? Because we're all weird at that moment in time. Right?
Yeah, that's really good.
We all do weird shit in that moment. And my thing was always posing. And I would walk around the house before I even had muscle, and I would literally go up to the mirror like that, and I'd try and get my traps up. You know, don't know why, I just did. And I think then as I got older and I got into bodybuilding, further down the line, I would always just be posing. The bodybuilding that I fell in love with as well, you watch Pumping Iron, and they talk about posing in Pumping Iron. It was ingrained in you that it's part of it back then. It's so much now.
No.
Now the prevalence or need for posing isn't as great. It's coming back because of guys like myself and John and other guys that are interested in posing in general, but it was just part of it back then for me. It was what was needed to be done. And I think what made me good at it is the combination of martial arts
and art. It's martial arts, it's art, isn't it? That's what you've fallen in love with. That's what you love.
Yeah, it was the expression, all the times that when I was on my own as a kid, posing in the hallway mirror or just doing some kind of crazy movement.
Yeah.
Like when no one was watching, that mixed with music, with martial arts, with my actual art,
Yeah.
you know, knowing how the body looked best in different certain positions
Yeah.
and things like that. So then when John, 6-7 years ago was when I met John, and that was when he done his first show. I was actually, it's the one I'm gonna throw it out there because I always do. I was
Go
bigger
on.
than him. I was bigger than him. Met
At
this
least
skinny.
you have to say how it is, mate.
I was once bigger than John Lofter. Met this skinny kid, and I was like, but he looked amazing. You could tell he had like great genetics even back
Yeah.
then. He would fucking move, and his lines would just appear.
It's
And you're
so
like,
annoying,
what?
isn't it? It's so annoying. It's like,
That's where
how?
like pro genetics is a thing. It really is. There's a massive difference.
Yeah.
You may be as big as him. Do you look like him when you pose? That's the difference between a pro and an amateur. You know, you unfortunately you either have amateur genetics or you have pro genetics.
Yeah, that's a fine point.
But yeah, so I said to him, you should do a show. You should do a show. Yeah, do it. So he done it. He signed up with Luke Sando because Luke Sando was in our gym at the time.
Oh,
We was quite had a phenomenal amount of athletes in our gym at the time to all like learn from, who ended up going off and doing great things separately. But at the time, we was all collective, and Luke would come in every day, so John could be watched over by him. It was great. But Luke was, bless him, never a great poser.
No.
So me and John decided to do the posing bit ourselves, and where I actually had all of the knowledge of, it's not even knowledge, it was just an amalgamation of life's love.
I think it's just an intuition that you have because you have that love for that subject, that thing. It's just an intuition inside. It's almost like Callum and his coaching. He knows what weight John is going to be after a certain amount of rice. He'll know that because of practice, and the love of what you're doing. So you're going to naturally, like we mentioned, you're going to be very, very good at it because you absolutely love it.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, it's the only way to put it, really. When people ask me, it just does come pretty natural to me.
Yeah, it's hard to explain sometimes with things when people aren't, when they ask about why you're so good at what you do or why do you love it. This is very difficult to explain. It just, I'm authentically in love with what I do. So that's why, because like, you know, I do like podcasts and YouTube and coach clients and coach myself and train. And we all do lots of different things. And I'll get some people ask me, how do you do so much things and just not burn out? It's because I love doing all the things I'm doing. I wouldn't do it otherwise. Like I'll burn out on the things I fucking hate doing.
Yeah.
I feel unless I physically burn out, I just don't think that's ever going to happen because I'm gagging to jump on another podcast. So I can't wait to get to the gym and do my cardio or go in the garage and walk on the treadmill for an hour because I just enjoy it. And that's my love. I love doing that. So it's hard to explain sometimes to people why we're good at what we do or why we love things, you know?
It's like you with your ability to just talk.
See, this is what I was going to get into.
I was kind of scared coming on here because you know what my girlfriend said to me? She goes, "You're going to seem boring talking to him." She actually said that. I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
See that you brought up a wicked point about being at home when you're behind closed doors and how you act. That is your true self. You know what I used to do? Just, mate, I would stick on like pantomime music or like just like how you want to like almost emit your, it wasn't the word entertainment, but use another word, expression. My form of expression is entertaining. I just love knowing, and this could be kind of selfish, I don't know. I love knowing I put that smile on that person's face.
It's not selfish.
No.
It's what brings you joy.
Yeah, that brings me joy knowing I did that. So if like that person's really happy and like,
that's cool.
Like genuinely, authentically happy, and I put that there, I'm like, get in. Like that makes me like so chuffed. But through the form of being an idiot. And that's probably why, you know what I mean? Like being animated and singing and dancing and running around. And that's what I did behind closed doors. So that's kind of funny enough, like this stuff I do now. just naturally do it, you know.
People ask me about you, I always say is bodybuilding's answer to Jim Carrey.
Mate, he's my favorite actor as well. Jim is. He's so good, isn't he?
Yeah. It's no different from you. It's no different from a carpenter making a table and going, that's the bollocks.
Yeah, I
It's
suppose.
the same. So she's not selfish at all.
No.
It's just being proud of something that you're able to do.
Yeah.
I think about it with my posing, which is why I put it on the gram, you know. Like, obviously it helps gain clients, but when you see me put on montages and shit that are up there, to me that is getting something that is in here out.
Yeah. And it's like remember that message I met when I was on the treadmill and I video go on. Yeah. It was like when I'm messaging, I was like, I've just watched your posing routine with the soundtrack of Kung Fu Panda 7 times, or in the last 12 minutes. It was just on repeat, boom, 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 because it kind of, I could feel your, maybe because I'm such a fucking nerd, I love cartoons, I love Kung Fu Panda, and that already in me, I had something like a pillar of like love there, and then I was like, oh, I could see his passion and love of, and it was like boom, collided. I was like, that's so wicked. So it was on repeat, and I was just watching it over and over and over again because it was just like felt good, you know. It's like,
it was cool as fuck. I went on my toes the whole
that was it.
Nuts.
Love that, mate. That's so good.
Where I went on my toes, on the hand movement toes.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. I do love it.
It was like what I mentioned. How you were like working against like a ball of like energy. How you were like pushing things away and pulling things towards you, and like that is like that expression, that design, and that creativity is all what I love. Like I'm like, oh, that is sick. Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
it's very Dragon Ball esque. But I've always like my original probably inspiration for bodybuilding, I think, come from it was another amalgamation of different things, but one of them was definitely Street Fighter. I literally own everything Street Fighter that you could get.
So if you were to pinpoint one thing that the most influential person or influential thing or influential subject, something like your pillar of like that like is static in your life always, and you kind of like are drawn to that, what would be your thing?
Probably it would be Ryu from Street Fighter.
That him as a character person.
It's quite weird. It's him and Akuma. You know Akuma, because their stories are intertwined. You know Akuma, he's the guy with the red hair, the demon guy.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And a lot of my tattoo on this side is all Street Fighter interwoven. There's little parts. Like I've got the kanji that's the Sun Tzu's Art of War. That's on Ryu's belt. I've got that tattooed on the back of my arm. I've got Akuma's kanji tattooed on the back of my shoulder, and I've got the dodo thing tattooed there. Like there's it's always been Street Fighter. That came from my art. So when I was really, really young, both my parents worked, and I had the best nan and granddad ever. And they used to basically look after me and my brother when we were too old to stay in the house on our own. So first thing in the morning, school holidays, dropped off around nan and granddad's. We'd stay there all day, and then we'd be picked up when mum and dad were back from work. And that literally went on through most of my child life. And we always got pocket money. And for my pocket money, I always wanted comic books.
Nice.
It was always Japanese anime comic books, the manga, and predominantly the Street Fighter ones. So I've still got them all to this day.
Yeah.
Fun fact, my mum actually binned them, and I refound someone on eBay, and I paid 165 quid to get the whole set back.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so mine was the Street Fighter, and I would literally flick through the Street Fighter comics and I would copy everything from it, like learning to draw, and then from then on I could actually learn to draw myself. And that was what my whole days would spend, laying on the floor just drawing. but it was always Street Fighter. I was always obsessed with the human form and the ability to, when you see like someone that's just expressing something,
Yeah.
like that drew me every time. Big fireballs, Hadouken, like
Yeah.
I love all that shit.
What's the bit when he transforms in Dragon Ball Z and like he gets all the fire around him?
Yeah, when he when they ascend.
That's it.
They ascend. Yeah. Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3.
That's a Super Saiyan. That was it. I forgot the name.
I mean, because to me, Street Fighter was much more available than Dragon Ball Z. I think I didn't start watching Dragon Ball Z until I was probably about 13, 14. It was senior school.
All your fighter games. The one, the next one would have gone on from that was Tekken.
No, Mortal Kombat.
Oh, was it Mortal Kombat before Tekken? Or was it about the same sort of time?
Because when Mortal Kombat came out, everyone went crazy because it was like, there's blood. And the characters are real people that are photographed and put on. So now it looks like there's real people and real blood. Yeah, and it was really, I remember, because my mum used to work for Adrian's record store, which was basically like a little place in Wickford that would get all the new games and CDs and DVDs, VHS back then. And would get all them in. And because she worked there, I was able to get hold of all of the illegal shit that I shouldn't have at that age.
Yeah.
So I think I was probably like really young, like 11, 10 or 11, and she brought home Mortal Kombat, which was an 18. And you've got people ripping people's spines out. And shit. Fatalities.
Have you seen all the latest ones? Have you played the latest one?
Yeah, I played number 11. That was the last one.
The only Mortal Kombat or the only like fighter game I've owned recently is Injustice. So it's like all the DC and the sort of like Marvel characters, but for Mortal Kombat. Or it's like a mix. It's like a collab of some kind.
Yeah, I know the one. And then occasionally throw like Freddy and Jason in it.
That's it. If you buy like an added pack of like, you can buy an add-on for $39.99, the same cost of an actual game. Are you joking?
Add-ons.
If you notice as well, like there was like a time where you put the disc into the disc tray and played the game. Do you remember that? Do you remember when you used to have a PlayStation 2? You put the disc in and you just played it. Now you plug it in, you've got to download and install the whole fucking thing onto the system. And then you've got like an update every 10 minutes. And then you can't play half the game anyway because you've got to buy fucking add-ons for the same price as the disc was.
Yeah. Mate, I remember when it was just a cartridge and you just went, because I grew up in the Super Nintendo. That was my era.
Yeah.
I was Super Mega Drive or the Super Nintendo. That was my era.
I'm going to play...
Mario Kart is still probably... The original Mario Kart is probably still the best game ever.
Can I remember the original Mario Kart? I don't think I can, man.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm going to get the Sega theme tune on here so we can listen to that. That was
I still remember the cheat for the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It was at the title screen, you do up, down, left, right, A, start together.
Do you remember them? That was so good. You used to go to school and you'd be like, got a new cheat code, mate. Oh, have you? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can have the cheat code if I have your penguin bar. All right, mate. Yeah, cheers. Do you remember penguin bars? They were so good. Yeah. A little crappy joke on the back.
yeah, there's always a shit joke on the back. What was that about?
Oh, penguin bars were legit. What was your like favorite chocky bar, like confectionery growing up? What was your you were?
Curly Whirly.
They were good, mate. They were just fucking.
Yeah, they're like that big now. When I was a kid, Curly Whirlies were like that. I sound really old now.
Or is it because you were tiny? So the Curly Whirly seemed quite big.
They used to be the same length as a non-shatter ruler.
30 centimeters.
Yeah. And now they're like the same size as a fucking fudge.
I know this is a common like moan, but Freddos, mate, when they were actually 10p.
Oh yeah. See, I wasn't really a Freddo guy, but I do know what you mean.
Oh god, I was definitely a Freddo. My favorite confectionery of all time is a chocolate raisin, and it's a bit like controversial. Not many people like them.
I like them. I don't know if it'd be my favorite.
Oh, mate.
Mine bar.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah,
they're good. Do you remember space flying saucers with a little sherbet inside?
Yeah, when you stick them in your mouth, they
salt. Yeah, Do you remember skips, the crisps? You just stick them on your tongue, the prawn cocktail skips, and you just like
yeah.
hang there.
Monster Munch was my favourite. Pickled onion ones.
Yes, easy.
Mouth and
without a doubt. What about the crisps? Bloody hell, what are they called? Knickknacks. Do you remember knickknacks?
Yeah.
The purple packet.
Yeah,
like ribs, the rib flavour, the purple pack knickknacks were legit.
I preferred the scampi flavour.
Listen to this. That's really old Sega. Remember that?
You always go, Mega Drive.
So good, wasn't it? And the next one's PlayStation. Or is it PlayStation 2?
PlayStation just win.
That is it. See if it plays.
Yeah.
Here we go. So good, wasn't it? That was wicked. I don't know. I prefer all the consoles now because they are bloody wicked, the games. But it's like you can't beat like sticking on Crash Bandicoot and playing that for hours.
I do think that storytelling peaked around PlayStation 1 and 2. And then PlayStation 3 onwards, the storytelling's gone a bit. You get the odd game like Last of Us 2 or Uncharted 4 that have a great storyline, but for the whole, it was PlayStation 1 and 2, every game had a great storyline.
See, I must say, because you're a little bit older than me, you had probably a brain in you. You enjoyed the storyline. I'm 28.
Oh yeah, I'm like almost 10 years older than you, bro. I'm 37.
Yeah. So you've got a good 9 years on me. So when you were playing games for PlayStation 1 and 2, you were like, great storyline. I was like, I'm going to grab the console now and have a play. Like I didn't really like.
Yeah.
But I think the first couple of games there
were
two.
Solid. The first one was.
I didn't play it. I was too young for them when they were at the peak. Like the two games on Xbox and PlayStation, I loved the storyline. Was Prince of Persia, if you remember that.
No, I didn't really get
that was a precursor to Assassin's Creed, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't really get on it though. I love Assassin's Creed though.
Very good. So it's like Prince of Persia was like the birth of the free running, like free play, climb up walls, spin around people, jump over them, stab them in the back, and that's it was like the Sands of Time storyline was like you had a dagger with some sand in it, and if you stab someone, or you can use a special power in reverse time. So if you fuck up, you can go back. It was that on Xbox, and it was. Do you remember Ratchet and Clank?
I don't, but my missus loves it.
Ratchet and Clank was wicked on PlayStation.
Yeah, she loves it. It weren't really my thing.
Yeah.
When I first got the PlayStation, because I had to save up for it all myself because I was at that age.
Yeah.
And I got Destruction Derby, the first one. I love those games. Destruction Derby, the original Tekken. I had that. Crash Bandicoot. They were my initial 3 games. PlayStation, because they were when it came out. That was when the PlayStation came out. Because it was the first time. Remember, there was the 16-bit Mega Drive,
16 or 32.
16 on the Mega Drive, and then the Flex for the PlayStation was double the power of the Mega Drive, and it was 32. But actually, when you look at what they did for that 32, they massively passed Mega Drive. And then you brought out the N64, which was like, well, we're double the amount of PlayStation. And it's like, you may be. The games were shit. So some of them, but not as good as PlayStation.
I might treat myself over Christmas because I'm a loner. Because no one's going to buy it me, are they? I was going to buy myself a Switch.
I really want a Switch.
I want to play Zelda, which I never played.
Handheld.
Yeah.
No. Or you're going to get the actual Switch.
I'm going to get the actual. So I'm not going to get the light one. I was going to either get the OLED version, but there's a bit of a glare apparently on the screen. And if you don't have an OLED telly, when you connect the Switch to the telly, is pointless. But the screen itself on the Switch is like really high res and it's nice and sexy. But I'm just going to get the standard one, I think, because I want to play. There's a few that I want to play the Pokemon on there. Pokemon, Zelda, which I've never played a Zelda, which is terrible of me.
Never played Zelda, but some say that it's the best game ever.
I know, I hear that a lot. So I'm going to get Zelda, Pokemon, probably like a Mario Kart, because you can't beat that. Can't beat that.
Mario Kart is the one game you can just switch on and just play and just.
The old Game Boys, which was, did you have the box, like the grey brick?
Grey one, yeah, I did. I've still got it.
Yeah. Oh man, they were so good. What about the game? When I had the Game Boy Advance, but I was the kid, the cool one that had the see-through plastic, and if you had see-through plastic, you could see all the wires. You're the cool kid.
Yeah. That was a Nintendo thing though, because they did that with their controllers on the SNES.
Yeah.
That was when it first came about. I remember I got that from one of my pals at the time. It was who I grew up with, went to his birthday, and we got as a present, we got him the controller with all the see-through bits in it. So, and it had turbo buttons, which were basically a cheat. Because you could switch the turbo button on and it punched like
Yeah.
So if you remember, like for Street Fighter, you had Honda and Chun-Li, and their moves were like you had to proper smash the buttons.
Yeah.
So the 100 hand slap or the legs. So if you had a turbo button, you could just switch that on. You didn't have to do that. You could just be like, "Yeah, if I can come at me, bro."
Yeah, man. Did you? I think the one console I didn't really get, and I didn't really play was the GameCube.
No, same, and the Dreamcast I didn't play either.
No, I never played that. No,
I didn't play the Dreamcast. Didn't play the GameCube. I had a Mega CD though.
What's that?
So Mega CD came out between the PlayStation and the Mega Drive. When Mega Drive had really exhausted all of their resources, they tried to level up their. I'll get a picture of it. They tried to level up their gaming, and they brought out the Mega CD, and it was the first. I believe it was the first CD'd console, and you had to own a Mega Drive to play it. So the Mega Drive would slot onto the Mega CD, and then you'd have a CD drive on the side. 180 quid if you want a refurbished one.
So it must have been before PlayStation, because PlayStation was obviously a disc console.
Yeah. So there was actually two Mega CDs. There was a Mega CD.
Never even heard of it.
That's that old one, bro. Hang on, because it's not letting me. It's not letting me load that image up. Big. Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see it. So
it kind of looks like the old Xbox. Oh no, I can see
here.
Yeah,
and then you'd have this disk drive here. But you had to have the Mega Drive, otherwise the Mega CD wouldn't work.
So it's just another money making tool.
Yeah, it was basically like an expansion pack for your console, but it enabled you to play CD games.
I got a funny story. Go on.
This is why it was so good for me being a nerd as a kid, because my mum worked for that Adrian's record store. I got all of this shit. Mm-hmm. Any little add-on gadget or whatever came out, I had it.
Oh, mate, I remember there was. You remember Blockbuster? You would remember Blockbuster, mate, wouldn't you?
That other day.
What a trip!
Where we live, there's still an old Blockbuster. They haven't took the signs down.
Oh, mate, just it was the carpeted. So as a kid, just like the thought, it was the carpeted floor. It was the high stacked shelving with all of the PlayStation 1 games, like all the DVD. Yeah. Well, it'd be videos back then, possibly DVDs, or and your dad would take you on like a Friday night, and it would just be exciting. It might get you a little slush if he's earned his bonus that week. It'd give you a slight, and you'd be walking around like buzzing, like what video we're going to get, what PlayStation 1 game are we going to rent. Now, mate, it's just at your fingertips. Kids are just like using their mum and dad's credit cards on Fortnite just to buy an add-on. It's like, nah, I know I sound so fucking old, but that was so
it's,
good, man.
it's even it's. I think it was all better back then. Even like gaming was something that you did collectively. Like now, everyone goes against each other on multiplayer
On COD.
on COD or whatever. But back then, everyone would come round.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got the new Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Sick. I'll get the munch.
Yeah.
So we'll be over in a bit, and then
Yeah.
you everyone round, and you're collectively playing a game. It was
Do you
a
know,
social.
I don't know if you were this. I don't know if you were the same, but
That's
like,
why it's socially awkward kids.
yeah, it was for
Yeah.
me. I was as excited to play a new game as I would to go to a friend's house, sit behind him on the floor, next to him on the sofa, on his bed while he was playing the game, and I was just watching.
Yeah.
I was just watching him play, like helping him with tactics. Now, mate, oh, you just died. I'll try that way. Or watch out, look in the corner there's a monster in the corner over there. Blah, 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 blah. And you were able to just like play together. And this is why there was a game I used to play, and I'm going to proudly say I was addicted to it. World of Warcraft, right? I was that kid. And I would shut the curtains, not go out.
You for a Warcraft guy.
Yeah, that's me. I've still got it downloaded on my PC, on my tower. I won't get it on my Mac because this is for work.
Yeah.
And it would be like working with 3 or 4 people, not against. Like it's all like nowadays, it's all like on 100 players on a massive map, survive until you're number 1, kill everyone else. When I was playing games, it was all, and with World of Warcraft, it was combine all of your skills in a team of people and kill this big monster. Or when I was younger, watching other kids, it was work as a team. And it was like, I loved all of that aspect. And now it's just like, kill everyone, you're all by yourself.
Yeah. Which is very much how people are playing it as well.
Yeah.
I've got a nephew, and he's very very locked into his own little world, you know.
Yeah.
He finds it very difficult to talk to other people, and it's where he's literally just sat indoors with his headphones on, just playing Xbox and out on his own. Whereas I think the reason back in the day we was able to still have a social life and game is because it was a social event, and it's not anymore. It's just a shame. We still do it around my house though. People every Sunday, all my friends come around. We quit church.
That's wicked. I love that.
We've got a WhatsApp group, and like every Sunday, it's all my mates that bodybuild, and there's probably about 6 or 7 of us.
Oh, why don't I live near you? I wish I was a part of the bloody church. Fuck.
Yeah. Come down, bro. You could be a part of the church. What we always say is church on Sunday, and everyone comes over, and we'll just, if we're not, it's funny because like one of us will be on prep, 2 of us will be on prep, and it's good because we'll understand. You know, we'll get each other, we'll help each other out, we'll help each other posing sometimes on a Sunday, and like I'll sit down on my beanbag and just let everyone pose in front of me and critique them and stuff like that. And then if we're not, then we just get pizzas and we sit and game or we watch a film.
I see, that's wicked. I think that's what I'm lacking in life at the moment, because I find that, I don't know if you're the same as me. Well, I don't know. Well, I love people around me, but with my job and with my career, I'm very like, I love the interaction. I love people, but because I'm so work-based, I've not opened up these and let people in, if you know what I mean. And since school, I don't really see kids from school, and the bodybuilding community, let's call it, around where I live, and I'm between Devon and Birmingham. So in itself there, I'm here for 2 weeks, I'm here for 3 weeks, I'm here for a month, I'm here for a week, and I'm so I'm not really settled. I don't really get to grow that network of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. And I'll have, chaps like yourself I can talk to online, superb. And I've got other people around the country, and that's brilliant. But having that community physically, can't beat it.
Yes, it's not the same as having people
no way.
Yeah, you can have a good convo with all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be shit next week. Mrs. is off to Spain to visit her parents. Nice. And what is it? John and Hannah, because Hannah's competing at the Copenhagen two-bro show. So she's going for a pro card there. That's at the weekend. So I'm literally going to have a weekend on my own.
Mate, it's good though. Look, think positively. How many times you can jack off without getting caught? Huh? Even though that you might actually get off on that. That might be like a risk that you quite like to do. You might get a bit of...
I might be coming in on.
Do you have like a little bit of a buzz, you know?
Yeah, just to get a buzz on. Or maybe leave the window open so the door's blowing.
That's it, mate. That's it. Well, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question, mate. I've had you on here for yonks already, man. It's been over an hour. Are you training later?
I feel like we just started.
I know.
As well.
Are you training?
Yeah.
What are you training?
Training. I don't know. I'm sort of on John's split at the moment. I think today is. No, I don't know.
It was arms for me this morning, mate. The most boring, unstimulating, radically. It's just incredibly, mate. Of course, I love walking out of a gym with the gigantic set of pythons hanging off the side of my torso, but it is incredibly boring, man. What can we do?
I love arms.
Really?
My favorite.
It's this, man. That's all it. Like I don't get. Like I like that. I think what I mean by it is, I want to have that foot. You know that like icky, sicky feeling you have in your stomach before a hack squat, or like before deadlifts, you worry that you're going to break your back, or like that sort of like. Ooh.
I think I look at arms as a rest from those days, but a chance to still go as intense.
Yeah, like
intense. I go hard when I train arms. When I train arms, I still have that sick feeling in my sternum after training arms.
I don't have the sicky feeling, but this is what
hunting.
I had this thought today in training. I was actually going to bring it up today. You hear a lot of the time, my arm day, I just go for a pump, or I just it doesn't hurt as much. My God, my arms are fucked once I finished. Like I feel the same soreness in my biceps I do my quads. I know in relation to what they are, mate. Honestly, and I've got when I'm eating my oats post workout, I'm getting cramp and like my arms like clicking in place, and I've got to like stretch it out. Don't just look at arms. I know I look at it as probably the most boring session I do out of my rotation, but I still go hard. I still go heavy, and I walk out like I've worked.
Yeah,
damn right.
Arms, I think, is lost in today's bodybuilding. Me and John actually was very controversial for quite a long time because we poo-pooed the whole push-pull legs thing. People sort of misinterpreted it. We brought out a video, and it was our most successful video for the wrong reason. And it was like, don't do push-pull legs, but that was a clickbaity title.
Yeah.
Obviously, push-pull legs is a good split, and it has huge benefits to people. But what we were trying to convey to everyone is, for people that have no fucking arms, which seems epidemic in bodybuilding nowadays, people just don't have arms because they do the push-pull leg split. And it's like, if you do push-pull legs, make sure that the push-pull leg split suits you.
Yeah.
And your lagging body parts and that. You know,
I found because I was sitting.
If you've got no arms and you're doing push-pull legs, and maybe you've got 4 arm movements in your week, it's not really going to help your lagging body part out, is it?
No, that's exactly what I was just going to bring up then. I found with my push-pull legs, I didn't have enough time to hit my arms. I'd be in the gym for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that isn't, I can't be doing that. So what I would end up doing is push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, arms, push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, arms. So it'd be like a 3 on, 1 off, 4 on, 1 off. It would be like that. So I'd end up
in that,
yeah. So like my second rest day would be an arm day. I'd class it as a rest, but I'd still go in and train. But it wasn't as stimulating and as hard as like a pull or a push or a leg day would be.
Yeah, and that's what my argument always was with people, because you put you give your legs a whole day. Legs are 2 extremities on your body. What are your arms? It's the same fucking thing. It's the other 2 extremities.
Yeah.
So why are you giving your legs a whole day, yet you poo-poo training arms? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your arms are just as important on the stage as your legs are.
Yeah.
Just as important as your back is just as important as your chest is. You know, they're the opposing muscles to your aesthetic frame.
Yeah.
You know, like people used to boast back in the day, oh, I have 22-inch arms, I have 24-inch arms. You don't get anyone boast like that anymore.
No. Wouldn't it be wicked if we saw another Lee Priest sort of physique? Because as soon as I think of arms, I think Lee Priest.
Yeah.
That's what I think. When I look at like a set of arms, I'm like, yeah, I'd love the set of them, mate.
He was ridiculous, wasn't he? No,
like that side that like tricep shot in the mirror with what's his name? Tom Platz looking in.
Tom Platz is like, ah.
Yeah. Mate, they're like croissants. They look incredible, man. God,
just slap on another level.
Yeah, just slap a bit of jam on that and eat those babies. Yeah. If you were to have, let's say, if there was a zombie apocalypse in the world, this is going to be my final question to you. Now, I think about this a lot. Now, I'm going to give you the option. Zombie apocalypse occurs, right? It happens. We're in one. However, we've got zombies like Walking Dead zombies, like absolute mongs just walking through, like being absolute plebs. Like you could easily run past them. And then you've got, if you've seen World War Z with Brad Pitt, Bradley Pitts.
Yeah.
Right, so you've got two sets of zombies. They're going to be running riot like they've got rabies. Like they're going to get you in no time. And then you've got Walking Dead. Which weapon would you pick for what scenario?
So Walking Dead zombies, I'd have a katana.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like the lady with the dreadlocks.
It just goes with me, right?
It does. Would you be wearing the mask?
Fuck yeah. I'd be cleaning my blade before every time.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Okay. So
the head off.
So you got a bit of time to like get some. You get backhand shot, and then a forehand, and then a stab, and then a decap, and then a back right in there.
Spinning.
Yeah, easy. Okay. So Walking Dead, you'd have a katana, and then what would you do for the World War Z? These guys can sprint.
We'll probably have a sniper.
That's too. Well, you need to find somewhere really, really quiet, really high, and really remote with a sniper. You're dead, mate, because that's going to take you ages to reload that 50 cal.
Oh, what you've gone straight for? He's going to have a 50 caliber sniper rifle. You can get sniper rifles that have got
a couple shots, like a couple shots with them.
Yeah, semi-auto sniper rifles.
Okay.
Yeah. You've gone straight for the Barrett. He's going to be blowing their skulls off.
If I'm honest, I'm thinking with the fast zombies, I'm not thinking of like a weapon, I'm thinking of a shield, with nails on the outside of the shield.
Yeah, what if you get overrun? You're fucked.
I've got a shield.
They can come in through the sides, though, and the back and the top.
But you think of like what you could, if you've got some like force behind you, if you're like a strong ruggers player and you go bang, scrum them away.
I think just me being further away with the sniper is already ahead of you with your shield smashing. You're kind of putting yourself in a position you don't want to be in.
But I think you might be right. But if me and you were together, then you'd be at the top of the hill sniping those bastards as I was walking through like a tank, like smacking them and getting to the destination. You'd be
hell yeah. Did you ever see? You're not much of an anime guy. Did you ever see? What was the manga that they brought out with the zombies? High School of the Dead.
Oh, that's good.
That was fucking good.
Is it? Should I watch it?
Well, yeah. There's this one bit where he gets this girl and he lays her down and he uses her as his tripod for his Barrett. And he lays on her and he's got the tripod between her tits. And every single time he fires it.
What a guy.
He's like, ching, ching, boom.
I need to watch this, man. Is it on Netflix or anything?
No, it's not. You have to get it on a.
Oh,
I'll send you a legal link to watch.
some naughty link in it.
Anime. I've got it on DVD. You can get it on HMV.
What's the porn version of this? Of like, is it hentai? That's it.
Yeah.
That's weird shit, man. Like, as a
I've
young,
never.
as a young
See,
adolescent.
blend together.
Oh, really?
I've got one, yeah, I've got one over there which is really old called Urotsuki Doji, and it translates as Legend of the Overfiend, and there was just demon cocks everywhere.
Like they're into their like octopus arms. Like there's loads of like tentacles and shit.
Tentacle cocks. Yeah.
Mate, it's in it weird. Like you'd have like a woman there. Because as a young man, I'm eager to learn. So as I was like going through some porno sites, if you go through Pornhub, you look through your categories, like your top 5. So like, okay, I quite like these. What's that hentai? Hang on a minute. Tentacles.
Tentacle dicks, yeah.
It didn't really get me going, that one.
Nah, see, to me, I watched it with completely. I was quite young. I watched it way younger than I should have.
What porn?
It's not. I've got to show you this DVD.
Oh, the DVD. I thought you were talking about you're way too young to be watching the porn.
Where is it?
No, the internet weren't about when he was younger.
No, it was dial-up back then, wasn't it?
This is the one. You got to get this one. Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Over.
Weird as shit.
So this guy here is called the Chojin.
Okay.
And it's these guys here. And like, basically, there's this like legend of the Chojin, which is going to be, he's going to like destroy Earth and rebuild it better. So they're waiting for this guy to come. But in order to do it, these guys need to kind of make it happen. They're all school kids. And there's just loads of dicks and cocks.
Just demon cock everywhere.
Yeah, like there's weird shit in it. Just watch it. You'll be like very, very much weirded the fuck out, and at the same time absolutely drawn in.
like most pornos I watch then.
Yeah, and that's the other one.
HOTD. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's got a wicked soundtrack as well. It's proper like metal, like yeah. It's wicked. But yeah, that one's great. But this is what I tell people. Back in the day, we used to get these.
Manga.
It was called anime. It was manga.
And
we never did it with anime. It was just manga. And now, this is still a manga. So High School of the Dead is old enough to be a manga. But nowadays, when you get it, it's all like Funimation, and they make it very, very child friendly.
Yeah,
I liked it when it was fucking raw.
A little bit more like oomph to it.
Yeah, blood and.
Yeah, I was into my cartoons, mate. But it was more like Cartoon Network.
Now I'm still into my cartoons, but it's all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Anime's still going, man. This is the beautiful thing. Like, unfortunately, if you was into your cartoons and you was into, say, like Spider-Man, then now you have to carry on watching like the child version of Spider-Man. Yeah. No one really wants to watch that. Whereas there's great animes coming out all the time. Have you heard of Attack on Titan?
I think I have.
Attack on Titan's excellent. It's basically about so like the human races, the people that you are following are aware they are sequestered and isolated on this island, surrounded by walls, and there's levels of walls, right? So they go inside each other, and depending on your level of poverty, depends what wall you're at. So the royalty are right in the middle. They're highly protected, and then all of a sudden, like these kids are dreaming of being outside the wall, and one of the titans are giant naked people, that smash through the wall and then start eating one. And they have like a defense force, the normal people, to kill the Titans, which they have like these string things that like go from building to building, like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they find out that you have to cut the nape of the neck of the Titan, and then they'll fall and die. But then you find out where the Titans come from, like when you follow the series, like why they're there, and it's incredible.
Have you ever been? We'll finish on this. Have you ever been tempted to write your own story? Because I have. I've done it a few times. I've started to write like novels, like fiction stuff,
like a Harry Potter.
Yeah, but I get attracted to like Lord of the Rings style, like fantasy, like
quite definite. You'd have
yeah,
to think of,
like like names and language and cities and different factions in the cities and how they link and their jobs and their roles and that new character and that beast that they need to slay and they have to pair with them because of their magical traits and mate, I love like sitting down in like a quiet room and just mustering up just like a new world. Like I love that stuff, man. Like I know a lot of people know that I love my Potter and my Disney, but Lord of the Rings is like number one for me. Grew up on that stuff. Got into Warhammer painting Lord of the Rings models. I remember Dad coming back after watching the Fellowship of the Ring, the first one, and he sat me and my brother down. And he sat on the little coffee table in the middle of the room, sat me and my brother down on the sofa and went through the whole movie that he just watched. And I think as a little kid, looking at this grown-ass man getting really excited about this fantasy world, sort of must have imprinted in me. And I was like, fuck me, this is cool. And I was too young to watch The Fellowship at the time. And I think he got it ripped onto this like DVD somehow, and then from one of his mates, and they brought it home and we watched it and then fell in love. Boom, straight from there. It's one of those movies that I could sit down and it's comfort. Like you for manga, it's like you can sit there and just, you don't necessarily need to be sort of in depth into the movie or it's just having it in the background, just like soothes you.
Yeah. If I want to have one of those, it's usually me and the girlfriend, because she likes this. We'll put these on, and you got to watch these, by the way. This is your homework for next time we talk.
Okay.
You got to watch these. So it's
Your Name and Weathering with You.
This is the biggest selling manga. It's not manga. This is the biggest selling anime film ever made.
It's on
Netflix.
Okay.
On Netflix.
I'm jotting it down now. I'm going to watch it today.
So, and that is for me comfort. If I really want a day where I want to feel good about myself, watch something really nice and chill and not too deep, make a bit of ramen, put the fire on, duvet over me, Your Name. It's wicked. And it's inspired by, so you watch like Ghibli films like Porco Rosso and Princess Mononoke. This is the new guy that's killing it. And he's only brought out 5 films, but he brought out Your Name, and it is a global smash. And then last year he brought this one out, Weathering with You.
Is that good as well?
It's awesome. And the cool thing is there's supernatural elements in both of them.
Oh, okay.
But they're majority real life. And you don't realise till you watch this that they're actually linked. So it's quite cool.
That's almost like me with the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Rings. When people say to me, "I've never seen both," first off, I obviously throw up in my mouth, and I'm incredibly disgusted that they haven't seen the movies. You haven't seen them, have you?
I haven't seen the very last Lord of the Rings.
Well, Return of the King, really?
I saw the 2 Towers and the Fellowship, and I just never got round to watching.
Okay, I'll let you off. I like you anyway. But what was I getting at? I've just lost my train of thought.
The Hobbit and the Lord of
Oh
the Rings.
yes, there's like sections of, you know, when people say, what movie should I watch first if I haven't seen them, I'll always tell them to watch Lord of the Rings first, the older lot, and then the Hobbit, because they've got some Easter eggs in the Hobbit movies, the later ones, that link back, and it's like, oh my god, they're connected, and it's like that story is from that bit and that's from that. And if you're a full on fucking geek, that shit just gets you going. Like your two movies, how they link up. I bet you were like, oh.
Yeah, well, we went to, because obviously it's Japanese.
Mm.
So you don't really get many showings over here. I think like there's one of the biggest animes at the moment that is basically like the new age Dragon Ball Z. I've actually got the t-shirt of it, and it's called it's Air Jordan, but it's Air Deku.
Oh, okay.
It's My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
And My Hero Academia is basically like, it's very, very, you'd like it, man, because it's all about like leveling, like ascending, getting stronger.
Yeah.
Basically, a guy, it's about a young kid, wants to be a superhero. Not 80% of the population are superheroes, 10% are regular people. So superheroes actually outweigh regular people. And then this one guy, whose idol is the greatest superhero of all, can't wait to get his power, and he realizes he's one of the 10%.
Oh no.
And then he meets his idol, and he finds out that the greatest superhero of all, his power is passed over. It's not born with it. So it's a rare one. And then the greatest superhero at the time, All Might, passes him it. But he's weak and frail, and his body can't take the power. So then he has to become
That sounds pretty good.
Mate, you'd love it. My
Yeah,
Hero Academia, it's the 4th or 5th season now. It's so good.
I'm gonna put
It's
that
still
down as
running.
well. Done.
And that's on Netflix as well. And they brought out 3 films now. But the third film's only just come out at the cinema, and there's like limited cinemas that you can go and watch it in. Well, the same thing with that. So when Weathering with You came out, they had a pre-screening in London.
Hmm.
And the missus found tickets for it, and we went and watched. They played Your Name first, and then Weathering with You after.
Love it.
And it was all just a group of actual proper nerds that loved it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in like them screenings, you're not just going to get the average person that's popped up. Everyone there knows the film.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where one of the characters from Your Name shows up in Weathering with You, and everyone just went, like, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Is it your girlfriend or your wife or fiance or
girlfriend?
So was your girlfriend into all of this, or did you get her into it? Did you sort of both love it before?
I got you into it, no? Yeah, I got her into it.
Yeah, that's usually the case, mate. Us proper nerds, just like
when we first got together, like literally, I think at the time she just jacked her job in, so she was going on a like little sabbatical, and her sabbatical consisted of fucking Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
Yeah, and I literally when we first got together, that was our thing. I'd come home from work. She's been doing all the side missions. Oh mate. And then I'd come down. I'd be like, don't do any main missions.
Has she got a friend or a girl or a sister that's anything like the same? I need someone like that.
No, she hasn't, unfortunately.
Crap.
I was pretty lucky. We see all the time, like, I'm lucky because it's mad. Everyone's like, oh, when she's away, you can do all the things that you don't normally do. And it's like, I do them all anyway.
Yeah.
We watch anime together, we play games together,
yeah,
we eat together, and we train together. She's into the wellness division.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's competing next year so she done a show 5 years ago, and she was bikini, but at the time she's got that pear shape where they're like bigger at the bottom, and she was always going to be too big for bikini, and now that the wellness division's come around, it's right up her street. So a little bit more training. We took a long off season. I'm coaching her, and we took a long off season, and then she's going to compete next year.
Is that her first time?
That'll be her wellness debut.
Oh, so she's competed before?
Yeah, she competed. She competed before anyone. She competed before John.
Oh, cool.
That's where I met her, at the gym. It was like me and her and John all worked together.
Yeah, that's really good. How she already had that love in competing, and you hadn't have competed yet at that time, but you still had that love of bodybuilding, and then you met through that. It's having that team player. It's having that person that understands already, even before you. And usually, well, I could be wrong here, but usually you hear a lot of the guys would have done it, and then they meet a girlfriend, they meet a woman, and then they invite them into their life, going, "This is something you're gonna have to get used to, love." But you two already, that was perfect.
I remember when I was deep into my first prep, and I was literally sitting over the chair there, and I was on 0 carbs for a very long time, and I'd had salmon and veg, like sitting there, and I sat down.
I remember this.
Over and landed in my lap. And I was like, and she went, "Leave it, I'll clear it up." She made me new salmon and veg, cleaned it up, and I was just like, she was like, "I know what it's like."
I think you put that on your story once or something, and I was like, "I understand your pain, mate. Don't worry." Yeah. It's like it's that moment where you've done your fasted cardio, so you've got up, you are balls deep mid prep, you've got up, you've done fasted, you're fucked. You can't wait to have your 60 gram of oats, which is pathetic, or 40 grams, and you're making it so volume. You've got such a good wrist action because you've been single for so long, and you whiz up this oat, and it's massive, but you've left it in the microwave far too long, and it overflows, and you're like, do you know what? Fuck this. When it just like volcanoes over the side of the bowl, and it's like all sticky, and it's got
residue. I've done it 1,000 times. Why has it happened now? I've done the same thing I've always done.
Yeah, man, it's fucking annoying. It's pretty crazy, because when I was like in the midst of prep, I'd have a few people going, "You wait until you're finished. You'll look back and go, how the hell you were doing it?" And I was like, "Really? Will I?" And looking back now, that was crazy how.
You're a machine, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just like your world just becomes such a boom, 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 boom. But I like that. I'll become very, very, I don't know if you're the same, very productive. Like, I've got my jobs done, boom. And then you just like tick along the day. It's quite good.
I say people, like, I miss prep. Like for certain things.
Yeah.
I miss feeling athletic, and like, because you do, didn't you? You're so lean, even though you've got a lot of muscle, you feel athletic. Have you picked
a show next year?
No, because we've got a little bet. So within our group, there's a couple of us, and we all decided, let's all pick a show and go against each other for a joke.
I like that.
So now we're all shit talking each other and stuff just for fun. It's quite funny.
Yeah, me and my mate Xander, who I met at our show, at the moment where your legs were up behind, chowing down on some sweets and salting and then taking your pre-workout before you pump up backstage.
I was lying down next to Jack Joe.
That's it. And I was like, fucking look at the size of you. But we've done the same thing. We're going to compete next year together. Yeah. Like, we're going to pick a show, and I'll have someone knowing that he's going to do it. He's going to push me. Looking at his check-ins every week, it's going to piss me off because he's looking this way. That makes me work harder. Vice versa, I can motivate the heck out of him. He can do the same to me. I didn't have that first show. I was all by myself, boom, 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 locked in, and it felt superb. Yeah. But knowing you're going to compete next year as well, and just having other people, it's definitely helpful. It's having that invite. It's finding an environment that you want to be that person is tailor your environment around the person that you want to become. Does that make sense? It's like, I want to become a great bodybuilder. Well, I'm going to meet bodybuilders and hang around with them then, and I'm going to make friends with bodybuilders because I want to be a good one. Yeah. Don't start hanging around in Costas if you want to be a bodybuilder, because that's not really the right environment, Yeah.
I think with me, it was I don't know what fed I want to compete in next year, because I kind of have like a bit of a sore taste in my mouth from PCA.
Okay.
I don't really like, they've just put up the whole thing about the judges' feedback. You get it really fast now. They didn't have that when I was there, and I asked for judges' feedback a few times because I honestly do believe my first show It's not me. Everyone said it. They're like, that was some weird calls. Nothing made sense.
Yeah.
The guy that won was the same size as me, same condition, worse posing, and I'm like, surely we're the same, but I edged him on the posing.
Hmm.
The guy that comes second, I think should have beaten both of us because he was peeled.
Yeah.
Way better condition than both of us. He didn't have the classic flow, but I don't understand how he was between us. He should have either been ahead through conditioning or behind on flow.
Yeah.
You know, and well, I don't like the judging standards in some stuff.
No.
And then the guy that came third, literally, bless him, didn't have any muscle in his frame. He was so small. He ran up to me at the end of his third place trophy and was like, "How did I win?" And I wasn't going to be a dick.
I don't know either, mate. I deserve that medal.
He was like, how did I beat you? And I went, no, you done really well, man. Like, be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
But that's not on the athletes, you know what I mean? That's on the judge. At the end of the day, you work your ass off for all that time. At least you want to be judged fairly.
I was
on the first show, and also as well, the photo standards I'm not happy with. You know, you pay 35 quid for those stage shots. Both my stage shots were just taken from my routine, which obviously you're mid-flow, you're not going to look your best because you're hardly flexing a lot of the time. You're transitioning.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the two bro shots and they've got everyone's quarter turns, their front double biceps, their lat spreads when they're at their peak flex, you know? So, and I don't have any of that. I just have these random, and especially with my routines, because they're quite elaborate.
Yeah.
Some of the poses can look quite soft between transitions. And it's, I didn't really like that as well.
I'll show you you're saying that you don't like the shots that he took. This is fantastic. I hope I'm going to put this episode on YouTube because this will be well worth it. I think this might be the first one that we do. But look at this. This is one of the photos. Can you believe that he sent me that? Look at my face.
Mate,
what am I?
Ridiculous.
Right. You could caption that quite easily. Like someone is sucking me off in that photo.
The moment when you ejaculate. I'm going to see if I've got...
Well, no, it's when you're busting up, but she keeps sucking. That's how you'd caption that photo. But it's just like, how in the world have you got the balls to send me that? It's like, what are you doing? Like there was a couple of shots that someone managed to take from the audience and I looked bloody-tacular. There was a wicked shot and I was like, my God, I love that. And I was like, yes. And I was waiting for the pro shots to come through at the exact same moment. And it just didn't, he got it with my eyes closed. I'm like, you pleb.
Yeah, like you look at, it's hard to really tell, but like, I've got these shots.
Oh, screen's gone black.
It hasn't gone black. You just can't see it. They're just they're that good quality.
All right.
But then my mate took this one of me. Don't know if you can see. No, you can't see it. That's weird.
That's very weird.
Always.
Is it on your Instagram? Because I can find it.
Yeah, they're on Instagram, all my shots. But there's one that my mate took in the audience.
Yeah.
And see all of my detail, my legs, everything's out. Like waist looks nice and tight, muscle bellies look full. And then you look at the ones that
are you hitting the vacuum? Are you hitting the vacuum in the pose down? Is that the shot?
The vacuum in the pose down, and you can see like there. Yeah, it's look at
you in that shot, mate. You look wicked in there. Very good.
Yeah,
it'd be wicked if you did want to compete in PCA next year. How sick would it be to stand next to each other, just like whispering, "Glutes, mate, glutes, glutes, glutes." Like we're standing next to each other competing. It'd be so cool, wouldn't it?
Do it. Let's do it.
It'd be
that's my only.
Yeah.
With them, I hope that their judging standards a little bit higher, and because it's not even like I'm saying that I should have won. I'm just questioning why everyone was placed where they were placed.
I believe that I shouldn't have come. So I came fifth. So my first show, I came fifth with a invite to the finals, and I beat Xander, which extremely surprising because he was far more conditioned than me. And the only reason, because I got judges' feedback from that show, because I was like, how have I come fifth? And he's like, how have I even come before, like placed higher than him? And it was because of my stage presence was better. And my overall classic, and my overall classic look, I don't know if it was because I rocked the classic shorts and I didn't wear like the trunks, the proper like thongs, if people are listening that are not sure which ones are. So you got like the smaller pants, like Y fronts, like tiny little things. And then you've got like a pair of like black, let's say, small briefs. And I wore those.
That's what goes. I like the thong style.
Yeah, I wore the thongs on my second show.
Yeah, John's always told me to wear the thong style because it shows more quad.
Yeah.
And because you don't get a chance to wear them in the NPC. But maybe that went against me.
Possibly. But I placed higher than Xander, someone who was way more conditioned than me. But like you could far superior for physique. If you looked at my legs were soft. He had lines in his teardrop, in his VMO, in his quads. You saw that. His glutes, you saw like the walnutty sort of shape on the side of someone's arse cheeks when they're lean, like that. You know that bit? Those his were in. Mine weren't. So it was like, but I still got ahead of him because of stage presence.
I would like to show you, but I don't want to be disrespectful to the other guy. But that first showing, because I placed top 4. And I got an invite to the British, but if they actually got all 4 of us because we were all the ones that qualified to line up against and take a shot together, and I'd show you it, but it's not fair. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, you're not being a dick. You're just stating off. You're just stating the obvious, isn't it? Stating facts.
Yeah,
You're not being mean. You're not being mean. You're not being mean.
We might watch your podcast and be like, "What's an arsehole?"
What? You're not though, are you? You're just you're just being honest.
I just want judging to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even saying I want to win. Like,
No.
I do want to win. But on that first showing that I did, it was like I'm either top 2 with the guy that won because we're similar size, similar condition, similar flow. So he had a good flow. And I literally backstage was looking like it's between me and this guy to win. But then I was like, or they're going to go for conditioning and this guy over here is going to win.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be second or third. So pick one.
Yeah.
Are you going conditioning or do you want balance and flow with decent conditioning? And in the end, they went the same as me, really peeled. I don't know. And then me. And it was like...
Yeah, so it's a strange one, isn't it?
This is what I said to you when they said, like, presentation matters. Because that guy as well that came third, he didn't have a tan. And he hadn't tanned. He was lucky. He was Filipino. And he walks backstage and they were like, "Where's your tan?" And I didn't get one. He didn't have a tan, bruv. And they was like, "Do you want to be glazed?"
Yeah, did they gloss them up a bit?
Yeah. And they went, "You're gonna have to pay us after." He hadn't paid for a glaze.
I love it.
And he barely shaved certain areas as well. And I was like, "Damn, this guy's proper." Like me and him pumped up together. I was like, "Oh, bless him! Like he looks like a deer in headlight." It's like, let's pump up, mate. And then he beat me. I was like,
"Yeah,
okay." But yeah, that's not on that guy. He seemed like a sweetheart, but it was just it's the judging, in it. And this is why I don't really know what I want to do. Do I want to go the 2-bro route next year, or do I want to do Fit X, or God knows what?
Do both.
I just feel like, also I've not actually. I was gonna do I don't know whether it's too late to do it now. I was gonna do an IGTV about like a post-show recap from my last show that I've done, because I've done one for the first show, but I didn't do one for this show. And one of the things that fucked me for the second show was the pump up. Now, you was at Birmingham. How good was that pump up?
Yeah, it was quite good. Little mirrored room and a few little benches and dumbbells.
Yeah. At the Beck Theatre that we went to, there's the stage. Exit left of the stage is where you're pumping up.
Wow.
And you couldn't even fit us all in it.
No.
But you know how stacked the classic division is? I think there was 12 or 13 of us on stage.
Yeah.
So there's 12, 13 guys in an area that's half the size of this room, and they had no dumbbells, just bands.
Yeah, that was for me and Exeter though. My second show, just like yours, it was a bucket with some resistance bands in it, and it was like, "Yeah, lads, here you go." And I'm like, "Are you kidding?" Like, they're all twisted, and like not even like it was just like a bucket from someone's fucking boot of their car when it just chucked into the room and go on and pump up. I don't know if that's our responsibility to bring those things in, or is it down to them?
I think it's their responsibility to tell us. If it's just going to be bands, tell me it's just going to be bands. I'll bring my own shit.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a good pump up room, tell me. I won't bring my own shit. Yeah. And this is something I think all federations across the amateurs need to do for guys.
Especially first timers. We're worrying as it is. We're like shitting our pants, and like you walk in, you're like,
what if you're, this might be your quest for your pro card. You've worked all this time, and now you get to the pump up room, you've got a belly full of carbohydrates because you're just waiting to shuttle them around your body and get a nice pump. And then you get backstage and there's just bands, because your last show there was dumbbells and everything, and it's like that should be their responsibility to tell us. It should be.
And this is a lot of people's opening door into the world of bodybuilding, or like you said, their quest to become a professional in this sport, if you want to call it a sport, whatever. And they go into these shows and it's like, oh wow, so this is what it's going to be like, isn't it? Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, this was it for me. I've done Birmingham, and I literally felt like if you watched my first IGTV on it, I was like a rock star. I did. I had some guy over my shoulder with a camera. I'd love to get that footage. I don't know where that was, but I was like pumping up in front of the mirror, and I got the sickest pump. I got on stage, and I was on the first show. I was pumped. I had a really good pump. And in the second show, I was in way better condition, but everyone said the only thing was you looked flat. It's because I could pump up. And as well, they didn't glaze me. They started glazing. I'm the first guy on stage on this next show, on the second show, and they're glazing everyone but me. And I'm like, you should be glazing the guy that's going on first. Hello.
Yeah.
They literally threw a load of glaze on me last minute. I've gone out, started posing, hitting shots, went under the light, my fucking glaze started running.
Oh, dude, don't talk about tanning with me. My second show, we decided to try Dream Tan. Do you know that stuff?
No.
So it's this. So for the people listening, you know what a spray tan is? That's typically what you would get. You'd get a couple of coats one night before. Well, you'd get one night before, like a base coat, and then you'd get a top coat on the day of, and then you get a glaze over the top of that, so you look shiny and dark, so you don't get washed out with all the lights, and your body looks all poppy, and you look all flumptuous. But we tried Dream Tan, which is like this tiny little pot, like a moisturizer size pot, and it was this gooey, like, you know, that old school like hair gel you would just flick up your little tidal wave at school, this little top bit here, you know, that little thing, kind of like yours, but yours is far better. It was like that, and you had to use like gloves, like plastic gloves, like doctor's gloves. Get it, and it was all gloopy, and you would get a rolling pin and roll it on your body. So it was no spray tan. It was this golden, and it was like a shimmery golden look. And I was a completely different color compared to everyone on stage, but it does make your muscles look like they pop tremendously. And also, if you're heavily tattooed, like heavily inked, like my left arm is like all black, like all like tribally bits and bobs. You can't see any. It just hides a lot of that. It's recommended for a lot of like heavily tatted guys. Like I think Callum had a I think one of his competed at our show, I think, and he's just like his whole back is covered, and you would never see any definition in his back at all. They whip this Dream Tan on. You saw not one scratch of black on his back. It was all shimmery gold, and it was incredible. You saw all of the detail in his back, vascularity coming through in his lats, and all sorts. You would never have seen that if it was. Hey,
you use that, yeah, and it works.
I use that, yeah.
Oh, I might have to use that then.
It's great, but it's mucky. It gets everywhere. You don't jump in the shower after either. That's like a big warning. You have to get a towel, and you have to it's like gooey, crappy liquid. You've got to like scrape it off your skin with an old towel. And I was going for it. I was exfoliating my skin, man. I was almost bleeding, getting it off. Then you would jump in the shower, and it's almost like, you know, oil doesn't mix with like water. You've got like oil on your skin, and the water sort of like falls off, like little droplets, it just falls off your skin. It was almost like that, because I winged it after. I tried getting it all off, jumped in the shower. I was like, yeah, fuck it. He's talking bollocks. I can easily get it off in the shower. Jumped in, and it was like water off a duck's back, basically. It all just like, nothing was coming off. So I had to get back out and rub it all off. But it is really good stuff. It is quite
I thought
good.
about you cover, because you can get a tattoo cover, can't you?
But
like makeup.
Yeah, I did like a self-tan, like this Bondi Beach stuff you can get from the supermarket. I did a self-tan like 2 nights before, day before, and then put the dream tan on like underground car park an hour before the show.
The bodybuilding lifestyle, man.
It's mad, isn't it? Dude, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've been on here for like 2 hours. Can you believe that?
Are we really?
2 hours. Wasn't it like 10:30?
Literally feels like I've still got my breakfast waiting. The missus
See, I got anally pillaged by some bloke. I've listened to 2 podcasts, mate. Could your first guests have not eaten on the podcast? I'm like, all right, bruv, calm it. I'm still learning. I don't know how like sensitive the mics are. Apparently, it was like pissing him off because you could hear him talk and eat in the background. But thanks very much for
I held off
pushing your food on, mate.
I've done a couple of podcasts. I know it can be a bit annoying.
Yeah,
so I held off. I'll probably piss them down the line there. So fuck it.
If you could emit a message out into the world right now, like a good quote, a nice message, something that you live by, go for it for the listeners.
Be authentic. Stop copying other people.
I like that. It's very good. I live by that. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Mate, it's too popular to be. Is the word unauthentic or not authentic?
I've always been authentic. I'm like, believe it or not, I'll always just be me.
Yeah,
you know. But even with things that I do, and I'm no one really, but I see people copy me, and I'm like, dude, just be yourself, man.
I see that a lot. I see a lot of people that copy me on just little itty bitty things of how I word stuff or how I upload videos or what I put on this story or how I write these on these posts. I've had people they've copied Instagram posts and people have clocked it, messaged me, and I haven't been like, I've messaged that person, but in a way of saying, hey mate, good job it was me that you copied, because I'm not going to be mean, or no, good job it was me, because other people could be like, they could screenshot this, whack it on their story, publicly humiliate you, call you a bellend, but I'm just going to message and go, hey, I probably wouldn't do that, because people would, you know.
At the end of the day, it's not gonna get you any further. People can spot authenticity a mile away. So if you're not just yourself, people are going to like you or they're not going to like you. It's that simple. Yeah. And if they like you, they're going to like you for being you. They're not going to like you anymore for trying to be someone else.
No, mate. So, absolutely not. Hey, that was another episode of When Nerds Do Fitness. We got pretty nerdy in that, to be fair, mate. That was a nice mix. That was this is what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted. I wanted a mix of bodybuilding and fitness and where you came from and what got you into training and nerdy shit. That was the perfect one, man.
We didn't actually do that with me, did we? The whole what got you into it and all that, really.
Do you want to finish?
We'll do that.
No, we'll do that on another one. We'll do that on another one.
Get me on again. I liked it.
For damn sure.
I'm excited you do Scarlett, because I love Scarlett. She's lovely.
Yeah, she's on later, about 6 o'clock tonight.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, hey, she's cool.
Yeah.
I like Scarlett.
Yeah, she's wicked.
They train up the road from me. So
Nice. Yeah, we had a conversation about it the other day because I think I saw you train like a couple months back together. I said, I've got Sammy on in a couple of days. But yeah, we've got a few things in common. She's a massive Potter nerd, and she loves a Disney, and she loves those stupid like Disney sing-alongs I do that you have to guess which which movie it is. She loves them, mate.
excellent.
She loves them.
I've never had a thing for that, but
Yeah,
that's quite fun.
this is
that'd be
this is a thing. I just want to show people that we've got not a different side. We have other things that we love. Not I've got a different side of me that you don't know. Well, no, I don't hide it on purpose. It's just I just don't show it. So I want people to see what people are into. You know,
exactly. Yeah,
dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna let you go because you're going to eat and then go train. So,
yeah, man. You
all
too.
right, we will clock off. See you later, everybody. Thank you very much for another episode, and we will see you. You'll hear us in another one very soon. Ta-ra.
See you, mate.